Who's actually going to get the most out of a touchless, corded canister vacuum like the EyeVac Pro? Is it a game changer for the everyday homeowner who just wants a clean floor? Or does it belong in a salon or a pet owner's utility closet? And for the price tag it carries, does it make sense for someone who only vacuums once a week? Those are the questions that keep me up at night whenever a new, ultra-fast, powerful vacuum hits the market. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent the last couple of weeks swapping my regular stick vacuum for the EyeVac Pro in 3 different settings. My apartment's hardwood and carpeted living room, my sister's small home-based nail salon, and my friend's 2-dog apartment. What I learned is that the decision to buy this machine really hinges on how you use a vacuum day-to-day and what you're willing to compromise on. First, let's talk about the people who will love this. If you own pets that shed year-round, you'll notice the difference instantly. The 1400-watt motor pulls hair and dander out of high-pile carpet without the usual clogging you get with weaker models. My friend with a German Shepherd and a Labrador reported that the vacuum cleared the living room in half the time it took his old upright, and the high-efficiency filter trapped the fine particles that usually trigger his allergies. That's a concrete win for anyone who battles pet hair on a regular basis. Professional environments get a similar boost. My sister runs a nail salon where she has to keep the floor spotless between clients. Not just for hygiene, but also to avoid slipping on hair or dust. The touchless operation means she can slide the canister under the chair, press the sensor, and the brush head engages automatically. No need to fumble with a switch or bend over the dustpan. The no bending down claim isn't just marketing fluff. It actually reduces fatigue when you're repeatedly cleaning a tight work area. The fact that the unit comes fully assembled also makes it a quick addition to a busy service space where you don't have time to wrestle with instructions. Now, who should walk away? If you live in a tiny studio apartment and need something you can stash in a closet, the EyeVac Pro size and the fact that it's corded might be a deal breaker. The canister is larger than most stick vacuums, and while the cord gives you unlimited runtime, it also ties you to a power outlet. For people who value portability, say, moving from room to room or taking a vacuum upstairs without tripping over a long cord, this model feels more like a workhorse than a daily convenience. Also, if you're on a shoestring budget, the upfront cost is higher than a typical budget stick vacuum, and you'll have to budget for filter replacement sooner rather than later because it's a bagless system. Let's dig into the practical strengths that actually matter once the box is opened. The biggest headline is the fast and powerful suction. In real life, that translates to being able to pick up a trail of cereal that's been dropped on the carpet in a single pass. The motor doesn't seem to strain. You hear a steady hum but no wobbling or loss of power even when the brush hits a dense rug. That's the kind of reliability that keeps a salon running on schedule and keeps a pet owner from having to go over the same spot twice. The automatic dustpan sensor is another point that shows up in everyday use. You set the vacuum down. The sensor detects the floor surface and the brush head lowers itself just enough to make contact. When you lift it, the brush lifts automatically, so you never have to worry about scratching delicate flooring. In the kitchen, that means you can vacuum up crumbs right after dinner without worrying about leaving a scuff on a polished tile. High-efficiency filters are a selling point, especially for allergy sufferers. The filter captures microscopic particles that a standard filter would let back out into the air. In my sister's salon, she noticed less dust on the surfaces after a day's work, which suggests the filter is doing its job. The downside here is maintenance. Because it's bagless, you'll need to empty the dustbin after each use and clean or replace the filter periodically. That's a small chore, but if you're the type who forgets to empty a bagless vacuum until it's overflowing, you could lose suction performance. Another practical weakness is the noise level. A 1400-watt motor is not whisper quiet, and while the sound is comparable to other high-powered canisters, it can be noticeable in a quiet apartment or a small salon during off hours. If you're sensitive to loud appliances, you might want to schedule cleaning for when you're not in the room or invest in ear